and boom goes the dynamite.
Alrighty, let's get rumbling. This is Daily Dive, the only live lacrosse talk show that airs Monday through Friday. I am your host, Michael Karvelis, and on today, we'll be talking about how Week 14 absolutely delivered in the NLL. Also, we'll be talking to Scott from Lacrossing Barriers, Scott Godfrey, that is, from Lacrossing Barriers, to discuss the Stadium Showdown, where we think it should go next, and also what he's been doing lately to grow the game of lacrosse. And we'll also talk about the Rock and the Wings, how both teams winning sets up an elite showdown that you have to watch tonight. Without further ado, let's get into our top story presented by Daily Dive Store. Now, the Daily Dive Store, you can go to our Instagram or Twitter bios at Daily Dive Lax. Check that out. Click the link tree. When you do, you'll see the store. Now, I did promise you guys I would buy a shirt this weekend, and I did. Size 4XT Daily Dive white shirt with an awesome logo on the front is going to be coming in the mail soon, earlier than later, I would hope. So in about a week or so, I'm going to debut on the show. Cannot wait to see how it feels and show you guys what the merch is all about. So let's get into it. Top story. Week 14 was absolutely awesome. The Buffalo Bandits started off the weekend by beating the Halifax Thunderbirds 10-9. Matt Vince actually surpassed Brandon Miller with his 262nd game played, which is a brand new goaltender record in the NLL. Yes, that professional league everyone talks about, or at least some people talk about. I'm just kidding. I'm throwing shots again. But great job for Matt Vince. It's amazing to me how long, and not just how long, but how great he's played for so long. Like when you look at his numbers, it's like the LeBron James effect. He's not just playing long and stat padding. He's literally getting wins and playing amazing. Holding the Thunderbirds to 9 points is amazing, especially in the year 2023. Matt Vince did that at 40 years old. It's absolutely awesome. He is continuing to be great, and he might be a reason that Buffalo can get there and actually win it this year. Next up, we saw the Philadelphia Wings. They smashed on the New York Riptide 19-12. Oh my gosh. Mitch Jones, 14 points. Has he been great or what? Mitch Jones, I talked about it with Renee a couple of weeks ago that might have been a low-key good pickup for them. Like, no, people were talking about it, but now I feel like they should have been talking about it. I feel like Mitch Jones really has put them to another level that they really needed. Obviously, Vancouver's still in shambles over there, but hey, in Philadelphia, things are just going fine for the Wings. We also saw a Stadium Showdown, and was this thing beautiful or what? There it is. Let me get rid of the first thing, obviously. Week 14 was awesome, and this was one of the reasons why. The awesome Stadium Showdown. We see, of course, this is from the NLL Twitter page. And great stuff there. The stadium looked really good. I like the spider cam personally. I told you guys I should know, but I didn't know what. I figured what it was, but I feel like it did a great job in a box lacrosse game. There were some angles that was kind of cool to see. It was almost like you're playing 2K, like NBA 2K video game, and you have that back view so you see everything going on. So it was pretty sweet. There were some great goals delivered. Vegas kept it close. And I thought that it would be a nice start to a rivalry that I'm really campaigning for. And I think it showed up pretty well. We also got to see in Week 14, the Georgia Swarm beat the Albany Firewolves. And as I predicted on the show, I told you guys that the Swarm would win. I said 11-9. I think it was pretty darn close. I think they won 9-8 or 10-9 in overtime. Lyle Thompson, I don't know if you've seen the overtime goal. It was electric. Just comes right off the face-off, whips it around past the goalie. Too easy for that guy. When you've only scored 8 goals all game as a team, and Lyle Thompson just does that, it's such a luxury. So I figured they would not run it up 20-4, and they did not. They still played really well. But it begs the question, this is, of course, for another day in the week. You wonder, well, can they, keep performing well? It was Albany, and Albany didn't look great the last 2 games. But that could also be Georgia just getting more consistent. So great job for Georgia, a much-needed 2 wins. We also saw the Toronto Rock. And boys, Toronto Rock are really good. They're good at what they do, which is play lacrosse. Nick Rose is on lockdown again. Now, who was even more on lockdown was, of course, Ryan Hartley, who had a Rochester record 56 saves. But in this game, we saw Dan Dawson. Talk about the NLL GOATs. We had a discussion about it before. This also from NLL Twitter page. Dan Dawson, the second player in league history to hit 1,500 points. Only other guy to do that is John Tavares, who, oh, by the way, pretty stinking good at what he did. And, of course, he's a coach now. So great job for Dan Dawson. Of course, Ryan Hartley, I bet you his groin is killing him this morning. It's all, I don't want to say for nothing, but it's somebody had to win that game. And finally, the Saskatchewan Rush took down, lost to Panther City. And I told you guys Panther City was going to win that game. The Rush needed that kick in the mouth. And guess what happened? They got punched in the mouth. I'm happy. I could not be happier that the Saskatchewan Rush were exposed, because it shows you they need more help. It's not just, we play good defense. Alex Bouquet is great sometimes. It's, I don't care who your team captains are. You need more scorers. And I was talking to Cody Jansen about this on Wednesday. I'll say it to his face too. Like, he knows it. I don't think this is just we lost to a good team. No. Panther City, this was a game between these two teams that shows who was better at this point in the season. And with the team that lost should have made an extra move. I'm glad the Rush lost. They needed the loss. There is a Monday night game coming up tonight, which we will get to in the last segment. But when we come back, we're not done talking, because this time I won't talk as much. We're talking to Scott Godfrey of Lacrossing Barriers, how he is growing the game, and also his thoughts on the past weekend, although Calgary did not play. It's Daily Dive. We'll be right back, and so will you. Don't go anywhere. Back here on Daily Dive, presented by Fanatics. You see him, you see what he does. It's Scott Godfrey of Lacrossing Barriers, who is one of the best people involved with growing the game of lacrosse. And if you don't know, guys, he's been doing it for a while, and it's finally, I guess, paying off, because lacrosse has looked great. So go to our link tree, check out the Fanatics link in the link tree, shop all kind of sports, including the NLL. They got some more good stuff on there that actually fit people like me. But it's a big guest by Fanatics. How you doing, Scott Godfrey?
I am well, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic myself. Good weekend of lacrosse, eh?
Anytime you get a 1 or 2 point game, that's lacrosse. Ryan Hartley, yikes. Shout out to Orangeville, though. You can't swing a cat without finding an Orangeville goalie in the National Lacrosse League.
And they're growing pretty good over there.
Oh, my goodness. If you looked up, we took a bunch of our guys last year to the Greater Toronto area and went up to Orangeville. And outside of the guys that were out of town playing professionally, every one of their junior A players came to a shoot around with our guys. Their coaches, fantastic organization. They have coaches all over, Matt Sawyer, Patrick Merrill, Josh Sanderson, and on and on and on. And I think every team in the NLL has an Orangeville guy. I think there's 6 goalies. active in the NLL that are Orangeville
That's
based or touched.
crazy.
Yeah, just Ryan Hartley. Wow, no surprise he's doing well.
You think his groin hurts this morning?
I think everything hurts this morning. 56 shots, man. There's no party in your neck because I mean some go behind you. So and being an old, broke down, retired goalie, yeah, man, that's yeah.
Oh, Scott Godfrey's a goalie. I did not know this.
Was a goalie.
Hey, you're still a goalie.
Box and field, both. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of box and field, we got our version, the NLL's version, that is, of a field game because it was box lacrosse outdoors.
Yeah.
It had been 20 years in the making. They last tried it before COVID, and then, of course, COVID happened. But I know you called the Stadium Showdown. I called a little bit of it as well. What stood out to you? I know I mentioned the first 7. I love the spider cam. I wasn't sure what to expect with that, but I liked it. I liked the outfits. I liked the general feel of it. What stood out to you in the Stadium Showdown as the Seals took down the Desert Dogs?
Pure nostalgia for me. Growing up on the west coast of Canada, being a Canadian, we play box. We play outdoors in the summer. What you would think would be in the East Coast, an outdoor hockey rink, we call a box. And we would go down to the box all the time as kids. I started playing when I was 4, and you go down and older guys at one end, younger guys at the other, up till what is now politically incorrectly called midget or U17. We got inside for maybe a state or provincial championships. We maybe got inside for a tournament. And we played outdoors. We played on the asphalt most of my life. The first half of my career. And so it was nostalgia. It was great to see those jerseys. Shout out to the West Coast. Those Seals jerseys had a huge Coquitlam Adanacs vibe to them.
They were nice.
I like the spider cam. I just liked a different way of looking at it. Some of the pan away shots and seeing the scenery was just cool. I mean, it was time to fanboy. And really, honestly, I am sorry for the cameraman, but the cameraman that got blown off his stool. I hope he's okay. If you're out there, you can update Lacrossing Barriers on Instagram, but it made it entertaining because I don't think they would have shown it if there was a fatality. So
right. Lord, he did. I believe the NLL actually retweeted him when he said, "No bruising." He said, but he did feel like he was pretty special, and that I forgot the word he used, but he was okay, is what he's saying, which is pretty cool.
Excellent. Yeah.
There's a question raised by the NLL Twitter page, and I thought it was a good one. I asked our Daily Dive viewers, and of course, I want to ask you, because you mentioned in private to me 2 of the cities you would like to see Stadium Showdown go next. And I was intrigued with one of them, not sure about the other one because I'm not Canadian. Tell me about those 2 cities that you would like to see Stadium Showdown go to.
It sounds silly, and it's a logistic issue, knowing a little bit about the league. Boston. I think I would like to see a team in Boston. Just loved the Blazers. I had friends that played on it. I love the uniform. I love the vibe. Massachusetts is a huge thing. I think you're rolling the dice because of the timing of the league for it. So logistically, could you get it there? Calgary, could you get it here? That's a tough call even in April here because we get, we can get some pretty cold weather coming in. But, and Montreal, I think I'd like to see a team there. I think to get interest, that's more whimsical. I think planning wise, Seattle, 100%. Seattle. If you really had to try and showcase, I mean, clearly Vegas could do it, but I think it'd be cool to see something in Boston. Maybe it would generate interest and get the Bruins buying a franchise.
I really like the Boston thing from you. I also like Seattle because they support anything that goes to Seattle. Like Seattle's got great fans, like sports fans. They support WNBA, support NFL, support XFL, anything you want to throw up there. I also want to embrace Florida. Because I feel like the only southern thing we touch in lacrosse is the Georgia Swarm. And they say they get a bunch of numbers. I guess I believe them attendance-wise. But I've seen like there's some Florida kids that it'd be interesting to show them the game. There's a lot of athletes in Florida.
There's a lot of good college in Florida. I mean, Tampa, you have Signature Lacrosse out of Tampa. You have other people out of Tampa. So I think if you could get ownership like the Lightning,
that's
somebody,
true.
Yeah. I think what the NLL is doing with going with an NBA or an an NHL ownership, so they're just filling extra dates. And yeah, you could have an outdoor game, and I think the outdoor showcase, like the Heritage Classic in the NLL, or sorry, the NHL, too many N's, would be great. I think you're right. I think Tampa would huge. And look at all you got Jacksonville's, which is top 15 in the NCAA, I believe. They've got an amazing program. Fear the Fin. We've got a lot of friends on that team.
You know, it's crazy you say Jacksonville. That's like closer to me than Atlanta is, which is crazy that I live in Georgia. It would be like a 2-hour drive, if that. It's 4 to go to the Swarm game. I can't go to that yet.
No, and I think there's some good colleges. I mean, Tampa's good. Jacksonville is there. You are getting guys that have come out of those programs that have been on practice rosters and NLL rosters. I know Jacksonville's got 2 draft picks that are finishing up their 5th or their extra year that are going into the NLL. So you've got a base. It's just a matter of do the Lightning want 10 more dates filled?
That's fair. Another one I want to raise to you is, because I saw when the PBLA tried this, a team in Richmond or in Richmond, Virginia area. I'm actually from Richmond, and there's nothing there besides a football team in DC, barely. Yeah. So I feel like they packed the stadiums in the PBLA in Richmond.
You know, I'd like to see it. I think the PLL does a job. Like, they can go into Dallas and get 5,000, 7,000, 8,000. But if there's not a predestined team there, I don't know that unless you have another Joseph Tsai that can bankroll it and use it as right up. And I'm a huge Virginia. I got to go down and do some fall ball and be on the sidelines, and then do some summer camps back in the day when I was with the national men's field team. I'm just a huge Virginia and UVA fan, and all of those areas, and anything in Virginia for lacrosse, I support. But could they put 8,000 paid in the seats? Because I think then what you're going to do is you're going to get another Orlando Titans, you're going to get another Charlotte Cobras, and I think the league wants somebody that is patient, that is going to pay I forget how much it is. They're going to pay for it. Yeah. So those are things to consider, and Virginia is a great lacrosse area. Great. I mean, it's legendary and stuff, but could they sustain 10 home games? And yeah, that would be my only concern.
That's a good point. You have to bring up those points, because Stadium Showdown, I thought, was pretty much perfect. I mean, compared to what the Seals home games attendances have been, I like how much they were able to fill out there. I love a little bit more fans out there. I thought generally it was a success. What do you say?
Absolutely. And I think it got people in because let's go outdoors. They got tourists, they got everyone. And I think San Diego is being patient. They're building their fan base, and they're out in the community. So is Vegas. They know it's not, you could pay per seats and get 7,000-8,000 in, but it costs you more to beg like 3,000 more people to come than growing and developing fan base.
Hey, I have breaking news for you that I just found out. The San Diego attendance this weekend was double what they usually do. How about 8,443? Beautiful. That's what I want to see. I didn't know we were going to get double, but I love it.
Yeah, and really, it's a great product. It's a great organization, San Diego. From Steve Govett all the way down, Patrick, Josh, the players. We have a great relationship with them, and they're legit. They're really sincerely, they love the game.
I'm advocating for Tampa. I like your Tampa and Boston theories.
Yeah, and really, I think those are lacrosse areas.
And of course, you mentioned the Lightning ownership would be great.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right, so let's get to, I know you touched on a little bit, but this is one of my favorite parts of the show with your appearances, because
thank you.
We know Lacrossing Barriers is crossing barriers. They're trying to break through. I've seen a lot on your Instagram page. Tell us the latest in the last month or so with how you guys have been, with what you've been doing.
We were in the Philippines, and we provided sticks to some national pastors. Now, it isn't inherently a Christian philanthropic thing, but I know some young men that are in very remote areas that want to engage their youth.
Wow.
And they don't have rec centers. They don't have sporting associations. So when I have to get in a Toyota Tundra and drive across a river, true story, you've seen the videos, and be careful not walking in the tall grass because of the monitor lizards. True story. These young men are going, I took 4 pastors and showed them how to play. And one guy took the sticks, a dozen sticks. The other guys are going, will you send me sticks? Well, yeah, I will. I don't know how yet, but I will. And I'll be going back next year. And these guys said, if you send me sticks, I want my kids playing. And it's not about faith. It's about the fact that these young people, if they're involved in something and they're shown hope through sport, they won't be involved in crime, and these young girls playing won't be prostitutes when they're 15. And I'm not trying to be vulgar. I've been there 10 times. We have sticks in Laos or Lao, and the fellow that's there, he has a school and is now part of his curriculum. While in the Philippines, 2 friends of mine that have orphanages in Cambodia were there, and they said, would you send sticks? Well, yeah. We've been speaking with some people. Anybody on here, you'll be able to get a hold of me. One of the guys said, don't ship me sticks. It's too expensive. I can wait a year. And then I started crying because this guy's willing to wait a year to get sticks. So we've done that. Cambodia, Laos, Philippines. We are working with, we will be working with a group in Calgary to provide lacrosse to men trying to rebuild their lives at the Calgary Dream Center, with a women's shelter and a teen crisis shelter. We're also 5 of my guys, including a shout out to OJ the Dude and Techlex on YouTube. These guys are all one course short of getting their level 1 box lacrosse certification, so they can start coaching with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're doing a full intro to lacrosse session. We're talking to the Piikani and Kainai First Nations through my buddy Chad Chiefmoon, who I'm going to drive down. We're going to go down to a couple of places in southern Alberta, and I will be driving back up. I did a wheelchair lacrosse session in Edmonton, so a 2-hour drive, do an hour session and drive home. But
wow.
Lacrosse is our national summer sport. We have in my area 40,000 people who access wheeled mobility aids, and another 5,000 or 6,000 that may be able to walk, but when they play sports need a wheelchair. And our national summer sport is not available for them to choose. So like Michael, if you don't want to play lacrosse, that's okay, but you should be able to choose. And for a lot of our members and a lot of people in marginalized communities, at least give them the choice. And Alberta Lacrosse, I live in the province/state or a province of Alberta. Alberta Lacrosse has been amazing. We're also doing something with Center for Newcomers to Canada in Calgary. And we're talking with another group about finding more centers across Canada and coordinating. We're getting a contact list for some of the National Lacrosse League Players Association. Shout out to Zach and Reed there. We're going to try and get a database. So in marketplaces, perhaps there's connections I have. So players in market and players in their hometown can find groups that they can try and help.
That's insane. And the Philippine story stuck out to me because, life isn't just the North America. There's more countries out there that we are sometimes just not made aware of. And you see those hardships that they go through. I like that you said it because it's not like, being vulgar. It's being honest. And to me, when you give somebody sports to play, just any entertainment at all, it distracts them from what's going on. And it maybe help them. And sports helps you constructively build. Yeah, like playing Legos, helps you be constructive. Absolutely. Things like that. It helps people out. And I think it's awesome.
It's using your hands. Using your hands,
awesome.
Using your feet, and it's not on a screen. And I'm not, if you want to use a screen, I understand. I'm not saying don't use a screen, don't play a video game. One of the stories, we were there a couple of years ago, and we came this time and sort of knew, but one of the kids didn't know. And I'm getting out of a van backwards, and this 7-year-old goes, "Mr. Scott." He saw my back. He didn't know I was coming. So he was 4 when I saw him before, or in 2020. He was 4. And getting out of the back of this van, stepping backwards because their vans are 2/3 the size, and I'm tired of hitting my head on the door. He said, "Mr. Scott, Mr. Scott." So at 4 years old, I didn't remember much, and at 7, he remembered who I was getting out of the back of a van. So I started playing lacrosse with him. The next day, we go to play lacrosse. He grabs the stick because he saw me do this and copied it. He throws a perfect backhand to me. So I get a video out. I'll send you the video. Remind me off screen. He gets a stick, tennis ball. I go, can I take a video? He goes, yeah. This 7-year-old takes it, looks at me, backhands, right? Perfect to me. Perfect. Without being vulgar, he hits me right in the junk because I'm videotaping, and I bend over and I'm like, I'm dying. He goes, "Mr. Scott, are you thirsty?" I'm like, "Yeah, go." But I was so enamored with this kid throwing a backhand who I didn't teach it. He watched it and copied it. These kids put Tupperware on top of a basketball hoop, and that was their goal because they didn't have a net. And if you hit the Tupperware off, you got 2 points. If you put it in the Tupperware, you got 1 point.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had a 2-point shoulder. And these kids were playing, and yeah. And they were asking permission to use the sticks that I gave them. I'm like, they're yours now. You know? Yeah. So you have kids that want to play and are happy. And is it about having a league? No, these kids played for hours.
Wow.
Like, they have a very small area at this one orphanage we're at, and they're playing volleyball. And in between points, these kids are throwing across. They're using the space, and I mean, they got 110 million people the size of Rhode Island almost. It's a small country, and these kids were just making it work. The adult kids were playing basketball in the area, so I went around, and it's on one of the posts. They go around the back where there's an alley and dirt, and they created an L-shaped floor, and we're playing. And I didn't think they were, and I videotaping. They go, "Oh, 2-0, my ball," and I was like, "So yeah, if you hit the pots or the fence, it was a goal." They didn't. They on gravel and dirt, and out of bounds was hitting the flowers. Like,
and you thought outdoor in the field was tough. They're playing on gravel and dirt. Get out of here. We are not worthy.
Barefoot, some of them. Just okay. It was great. I mean, but they were having kids and they're winking at me, and then they're starting to chirp, and like, I grab a stick, and okay, they're 10, so I'm grabbing a stick and I'm keeping it away from them. And one of them goes, "Mr. Scott, look," and he points away, and I did, and the other kid jumps on my arm, and the kid full on the other kid pinwheels my stick, and it's like, well, you found. They
love the game.
They did. It was great, and it is just, and there are. I could run time out about the support, and it's just a matter of coordinating some more support with some manufacturers and some people. I've got one of my guys. Shout out to Sagan JP. He is one of my staff. He has decided for the spring and summer to learn to play field goal. So we're going to start with tennis ball. He goes, "Yeah, if you start with tennis ball, it'll be okay." And start with the foam ball. And then and JP is getting, he's one of my staff. He's from the, it's okay. He doesn't, I'm not outing him by saying he's on the autism spectrum, or he's got Asperger's, because I'll play goal. So I got a head coming. I've got an upper body I'm sourcing out. And we're going to do a field and box hybrid marginalized communities camp this summer. We'll do a sort of 9 to 3 with some strength training and stretching and lacrosse for people in marginalized communities who have additional support needs or learning challenges.
I appreciate everything you do for the game. I appreciate the insight you give us. You're great. Keep it up. Michael. Keep those stories coming. And when we have you on next time, we'll probably get into some more that have happened since then. But Scott Godfrey, thank you so much, man.
Thanks. And just so you know, Michael, we will have a store soon. I will send you, I think I've sent you pictures of our logo, and we will have a 4XLT for you, buddy.
Let's go.
Maroon and tan are our colors. So when you can get a tan hoodie with a giant logo on it that's 4XLT, first one's out to you.
I'll take that. I'll take that for real.
No worries. Have
Thank
a
you so
great
much.
day. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you soon. Thank you, everyone.
You too, man. Scott Godfrey, everybody. That's fun. That's some stuff like you wish, like you want the good guests to come on. You want them to give their insight and provide stories. That story about the Philippines was pretty stinging sweet, among the other stories as well. When I come back to Dilly Dive, we're going to briefly touch on the Rock and Wings, and then we'll wrap it up. Don't go anywhere. I'll be honest, I'm not sure why Twitter, at least my Twitter feed on multiple accounts, is not showing up for the Daily Dive show today. If it is for you, that's awesome. I hope it is just my phone, but in case there is a problem, I apologize for that. So let's get into this. Our last brew, presented by B-Res Coffee Company. You can check it out using our code Daily Dive by going to the link tree in our social media bios and clicking on B-Res Coffee Company logo. If you cannot find it there, or if you don't have social media, for crying out loud, look up B-Res Coffee Company, the B-R-E-Z Coffee Company, code Dilly Dive. You don't want to miss their awesome flavors. I'm telling you guys, they're pretty sweet. With that, let's get into it. This time for your last brew, and here it is. How does that look? I have to give them credit. This is pretty cool. This is at NLL on Twitter, and I believe on Instagram as well. It's Monday Night Football Lacrosse. This is great. Great stuff by them. I love the ESPN Plus side of it as well. Had to show this on the screen because, like, why not, right? So it was fun talking today. I think the Rock and Wings is going to be a great game tonight, because the Wings just beat down the Riptide. I don't know what that's worth anymore. And the Toronto Rock just edged the Rochester Nighthawks in a physical battle. Wings and Riptide got into a couple of haymakers as well. So now they've had a day off. They got a little bit of time day off as well. And tonight, I'm going with the Wings, man, but Rock shut me up Saturday, by being the Nighthawks. We'll have to see. But this could be a very big Eastern Division game. Like, the implications of this game are huge. Like, Rochester got their third loss, and now the Wings are coming up the rankings. Rochester's probably preying on the downfall of the Toronto Rock today. I know I am if I'm a Rochester fan. So that's that. Check it out. And also check out B-Res Coffee Company. We're out of time. Thanks so much to Scott Godfrey of Lacrossing Barriers for giving us the awesome insight and awesome stories. Everything he does, Scott Godfrey of Lacrossing Barriers. We also talked about Week 14, all the great games that happened, how Dan Dawson hit 1,500 points, how Matt Vince passed Brendan Miller for goaltender games played. And, of course, don't forget to catch Rock Wings tonight. Going to be fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. And remember, we're here Monday through Friday, every day at noon Eastern Time. For host Renee Washington, great guests like Scott Godfrey, I am Michael Karvelis saying have a good rest of your day and see you tomorrow. Bye.